If your players are checking their phones during combat, your NPCs don't feel very good, or you're spending like 6 hours of prep time and then it's falling apart in 20 minutes, this video's for you. Hi, I'm Kanoa Daddy. I've been running D&D games for maybe 14 years now, I think. I've made every single mistake in the book, seriously. But these 10 tips transformed how my sessions feel at the table. Hopefully they'll do the same for you. Your players will be more engaged, your prep time will get cut in half, and you'll enjoy DMing again. So if you're ready to level up your DM game, do me a kindness, hit the like button, and let's dive into tip number 1. Tip number 1, and this one's going to save you a tremendous amount of time. Steal everything. Movies, TV shows, video games, books, a weird dream that you had last Tuesday, that is all fair game. Here's what I mean. I once ran an arc in one of my campaigns based on the Prestige. My players thought they were hunting a serial killer, but it was actually twin wizards framing one another. They never saw it coming because none of them had ever seen the movie. The reason this works is because your D&D players aren't looking for 100% original content, they're looking for a fun time, right? So borrowing proven story structures from other media that gives you like a framework for something that already works isn't a bad idea. You're adapting it. So the next time you're stuck on session prep, ask yourself, what's the last thing that I watched or experienced that had a cool twist or a memorable villain? Borrow from its structure, reskin it for your world, and boom, you have an instant adventure. Tip number 2, your NPCs need to have desires, not just personalities. I see DMs do this all the time. I used to a lot, actually. They create an NPC, give them a funny voice, a quirky trait like always eating apples, and that's it. That's the end of the NPC. It feels flat because they don't want to do anything. Every NPC, even a random shopkeeper, should want something. The blacksmith wants to retire and move to the coast. The tavern owner wants revenge on the Thieves Guild. The king wants his daughter to marry well so he can secure an alliance. When your NPCs have wants, they become real. Your players can help them, manipulate them, or ignore them. But suddenly that NPC isn't just a quest dispenser, they're an actual interactable person. Before your next session, write down like 3 NPCs your players might meet and give each one a single sentence desire. Watch how much more alive your world feels. Tip number 3, start in medias res. That is Latin for in the middle of things. How many times have you started a session with you all are in a tavern, and then they spend 20 minutes waiting for something interesting to happen? The players get bored quickly and easily, and you're scrambling to hook them, and the energy's just gone. Instead, start with action already happening. You wake up in a jail cell with no memory of last night. The dragon's shadow passes over you as you hear its roar. The assassin's blade is an inch from your throat. What do? Starting right in the middle of the action immediately grabs their attention. Your players are engaged from second 1 because they have to do something. They have to react. You can always flash back or explain the context later, but you've already got them hooked now. So next session, skip your slow build-up. Drop your players into a moment or tension or danger and let them figure out how they got there. Trust me, they will love it. Tip number 4, use the rule of 3 for clues, encounters, and story beats. The rule of 3 is pretty simple, you probably already know it. Give your players 3 chances to notice something important. 1 clue might just be missed, 2 could be a coincidence, 3 makes a pattern. Let's say that you want to let your players figure out that the villain is a vampire. So the first encounter, they find a victim drained of blood. Second, an NPC mentions the Lord of the Manor never eats at feasts. And third, they see him avoiding sunlight. By the third clue, even their most oblivious player is piecing the dots together. This works because it respects your player agency, while making sure your story doesn't stall because someone failed a perception check, you know? It also kind of makes your players feel smart when they do get to piece things together themselves rather than you just tell them. So for any major plot point, prep 3 different ways that your players can discover it. That way, you never have a session derail because they missed 1 clue. Tip number 5, and this one is massive. Prep situations, not plots. I used to spend hours writing these elaborate storylines with specific beats and the players had to hit, and you know what happened? They do something completely unexpected and the entire plan would crumble, and I'd panic, and I'd railroad them back onto the track, and then everybody had less fun. Instead of trying to plot out that the players will go to the castle, fight the guards, sneak in through the throne room, and confront the king, prep the situation. The king has imprisoned an innocent person. Here's the castle's defenses, and the king's motivations, and 3 NPCs with different agendas. All of a sudden now your players can approach this however they want. Sneak in? Yeah. Negotiate? Why not? Start a riot as a distraction? Hell yeah. You've prepped together all the pieces, and now they get to play with them however they want. So for the next time you prep, write down the situation, the key NPCs and their goals, and the obstacles, and then stop. Let your players surprise you with how they solve it. Tip number 6, make failure interesting and not a dead end. If you fail the lockpicking check, the door stays locked and nothing happens. Fail the persuasion check, the NPC says no, then walks away. This kind of failure check is pretty boring. Overall, feels like a waste of time and it kills your game momentum. Instead, failure should complicate things. You fail the lockpicking check, the lock breaks or makes a sound. Now you need to find another way in and the guard patrol's on their way. Failed a persuasion, the NPC agrees to help, but now they want a favor that's going to cause a problem later. This works because it keeps the story moving even when the dice go poorly. Your players never feel like they're stuck waiting for a successful roll, they're dealing with an interesting consequence instead. So before you call for a roll, ask yourself, what happens if they fail? If the answer is nothing happens, just don't call for that roll. Either make it an automatic success or make failure create new problems. Tip number 7 is to always run a session 0 before a new campaign. I think a lot of people already do this. A session 0 is where you and your players meet before the campaign starts to align your expectations and discuss your boundaries and build your characters together. So what should you cover? Talk about the tone of the game. Is this going to be a gritty survival game or a heroic power fantasy? Discuss the content boundaries, like what kind of topics are going to be off limit for your players. Go over the rules, and most importantly, make sure everyone's character has a reason to be on an adventure together. This prevents 90% of your table drama before it's ever going to start. I've seen campaigns implode because the DM wanted political intrigue and the players wanted a dungeon crawl. Session 0 makes sure everyone's trying to play the same game. And really, even if you're mid-campaign, you can do a session 0.5 or whatever you want just to check in with everybody. You can ask your players what's working out for them with the style and the tone and all that. What's not working out. What do you want to see more of? This one conversation will save you months of misaligned expectations. Tip number 8, steal your players' ideas and then pretend they were yours all along. Your players are going to theorize about what's happening all the time in your campaign. They'll come up with wild conspiracy theories about your NPCs. They're going to be trying to guess your plot twists. They're going to try to connect the dots in ways that you have never ever intended or wanted to see. And when they do this, just say, yep. I once had a player say, wait, is this mayor secretly working for the big bad guy I had? I had no idea what the mayor was doing. He was just a random NPC that I'd kind of tossed in. But I said, you're going to have to find out. Guess who my next secret villain was? Not so secret, the mayor. This works because your players are handing you the plot twists that they're already interested in. They'll feel like geniuses when they're proven right several sessions later, and you've saved yourself hours of planning. It's a win-win. Try keeping some notes of wild theories that your players have come up with, even when they're wildly wrong, because those ideas are gold for future plot hooks. Tip number 9, end every session on a cliffhanger or a question. Pretty similar to starting your sessions in the middle of the action. Don't end your session when the action's over, end it right before something big happens. The door creaks open and the shadowy figure steps through. End session. The king says, I have a confession to make. End session. The dragon's eye opens. End session. This keeps your players thinking about the game between sessions. They could be texting theories back and forth in the group chat. They could show up excited for next time. And you've created a momentum that carries them forward into starting in the action next time. And your alternative here is if you can't end things on a cliffhanger, end them on a question. What do you do next? Where do you want to go? This gives the players some agency and gives you a clear starting point for the next session. So keep an eye out while you're approaching the end of your sessions When you've got just like a little bit of time left to do something, start steering them straight towards that cliffhanger moment that you've predetermined. Your players are they're going to bitch and moan, but they're going to be counting down the days until next session. Finally, tip number 10, and arguably the most important tip, take care of yourself as a DM. DMing is work. Not just work, it's hard work. You're the writer, director, actor, referee, game designer all at the same time. And I see so many DMs burn out because they think they have to be Matt Mercer with a Hollywood budget. There you go. 10 DM tips that are genuinely going to transform your D&D sessions. Let's knock out a quick recap. 1. Steal everything from any other kind of media, movies, game, books. 2. Give your NPCs wants and desires, not just personalities. 3. Start in medias res. Hook players immediately, start them in the middle of the action. 4. Use the rule of 3. I should have made this rule 3. Use the rule of 3 for important clues. 5. Prep situations, not plots. 6. Make failure interesting, not a dead end. 7. Always use session zeros. 8. Steal your players' ideas. 9. End on a cliffhanger. And 10. Take care of yourself. So here's all I ask of you. Pick 1, 2, or 3 of these to just try out next session. Don't try all 10 at once, that's a lot to do. But just pick 1. Try it out, see how it feels, and then come back and try another. And I'd like to hear from you. I want to know which ones you're excited to try. I want to know if you guys have any tips that have transformed your games that I did not mention. Drop them in the comments below because I read every single one and I'm always trying to learn new tricks. If this video helped you at all, or you just had a good time watching, do me a kindness, please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button as well because I'm trying to drop a new video every week. I'm just starting out at this. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you're doing way better as a DM than you think you are. Girl, have an amazing session.